Drink beer. Think beer. You're listening to Brew Bloods.
I would give all of my fame for a pot of ale and safety. That from William Shakespeare in the play Henry V.
That would be a lot of fame you'd be giving up, too, if that was your own personal quote.
That's true. I prefer to just give up safety and only drink beer. Actually, from Henry V, by the way.
You are the founder of Breakout Media, and that's a lot of fame just around that.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of safety. That's why I have a whole retinue of bodyguards protecting me. And really, with the Prairie Mob coming after us, we saw that my bodyguard force, which I like to call B-hole force, was put into full effect.
And every time they have to pick you up, and as you're running, you have to sing, "I will always love you" to
That's
them.
right. Just as slow as possible.
Exactly.
They have to match my pace in singing. It's really the beat. It's going like 24 beats a second, but
it's a really weird setup.
But a minute.
Really weird requirement you have of them.
I guess 24 beats a second would be like
a lot.
Some EDM or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty quick. Pretty quick little song. Welcome to episode 90 of Brew Bloods. We are back at Goodfriend, apparently our home away from home.
Our nurturing biosphere of Goodfriend.
Of Goodfriend, yeah. We're here constantly. In fact, I think my butt is starting to grow into these benches here at Goodfriend.
Yeah, there was a little time constraint today. We were going to go somewhere different, but then we're like, this is right here, and they have stuff that we want to review. So,
and there's also an equipment constraint because we decided to bring back the break room, and we decided to shift all our equipment up north, up to BFE in Plano. And all of our good equipment has gone up to Thomas the Tank Engine.
Right.
So he now houses it in his break room tower. So
I don't really claim that show or that person, so I don't really know what you're talking about.
Even though you're on it. You can listen to it at breakroom.tv. But all of our good equipment went up there, so we're stuck on our portable studio.
Which is funny, because that's the bad show. We put all the good equipment with the bad show.
But he had one good mic, and we couldn't have two crap mics. So.
Right, exactly.
So
you don't care about our technical problems.
No.
You just care what we're reviewing.
We're in kind of a middle period right now. We need to acquire some new equipment and set everything back up and all that jazz.
Yes.
But that's pulling back the curtain way too far.
Yeah, pulling back stuff no one cares.
Pulling back the kimono. There's way too many nipples being exposed here.
If you care, let us know.
And not the good nipples.
At Brewbloods on Twitter. Let us know that you give a crap about that. Because
today we're going to be talking about 903 a little later. It's a little microbrewery out of another microbrewery out of Texas.
Spoiler alert.
But one Javi Fuentes from Central Track sent us an article and
doesn't sound like a real name, but
it's not. It's a pen name.
Gotcha.
It's a total pen name.
It's his William Shakespeare name.
Yeah, Big Texas Beer Fest. The mob from Big Texas Beer Fest is after him.
Oh, fair enough.
Central Track. So he tagged us on Facebook and wanted us to discuss this article from porchdrinking.com. The headline is Brewers discuss the pros and cons of cellaring. So pretty straightforward.
The site every beer drinker reads daily.
That's right, for successful beer drinkers.
Right.
So basically, the team over at porchdrinking.com.
How big's the team, Mark?
I don't know, like at least one person.
Yeah.
At least.
It's at least a one-man team.
It's at least the top half of one person. They may not have anything below the waist, but they're at least half a person. So they got Jason Perkins from Allagash. They got Jeremy Kosmicki from Founders, the brewmaster there. Brian Simpson, the PR director and employee owner of New Belgium.
Yeah.
Ryan Schmeggy, I'm going to say. Sure. Assistant brewmaster over to Shoots. Josh Rapp, Fred Rizzo, and Eddie Parker from Avery. And just a generic comment from Half Acre Brewing.
Yeah, of course.
And they basically want to gather their opinion about what do you think about people cellaring your beer. And really, 9 out of 10 comments in this article are pretty much, you should drink our beer fresh. Really, Deschutes is the only one that takes the kind of middle road when they said...
They said it can be fun to do.
Yeah, they said...
don't do it all the time.
Yeah, choosing which beers to cellar is critical. Higher alcohol, malt-forward beers often cellar better than real hoppy beers because the oxidation that occurs through the aging process is often noticed in hops first. Yeah, that's basically it. And I don't think this should be any surprise. I mean, I understand why certain brewers want you to drink fresh, but as we discussed, I think it was last week, talking about Bigfoot,
right?
That certain beers are meant to age, like a barley wine.
Yeah, and this has come up before, specifically with Founders and specifically with the KBS, because it's one of those, it's harder to find type beers, and let's say you get 2 or 3 or 4 of them, and maybe you don't just want to plow through them immediately. You kind of want to age them. It is a stout. It is an imperial stout.
Right.
So you would think it would age well. They claim it doesn't age well. I think you've had conflicting occurrences of that. Like
Founders?
I think you had an older KBS that you said didn't taste that good.
Yeah, it definitely. It's the rare occasion when it did not. Of course, I had it back to back with a Prairie Bomb.
Oh, okay.
Which was probably more fresh. I think the KBS was probably about a year old.
Sure.
But yeah, the KBS in comparison did not drink at all what I remembered it being fresh.
So, of course, don't go get Pliny the Elder and then age it for 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some beers that you don't age. But, like you said, there are some that specifically they want to age. I mean, look at Dogfish. You go get a 120, that's a hoppy IPA, and they say ages well. It's printed right on the label.
And conversely, Stone has the Enjoy By series.
Yeah, exactly.
Which they should enjoy by this date, or don't drink it.
So I think it's kind of a ridiculous argument to have a blanket statement on it either way. I think it depends on what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think it's a little annoying if... I mean, I wouldn't even say it's annoying. If you want to be a guy that gets a bunch of cellared beers, and that's your thing, then go do it. Who cares? I mean, cellar it right. Don't cellar it in the garage like I used to.
Yeah.
With no no cooling mechanism.
In an onion crotch summer in Texas in August.
You know, at least get a fridge like I have now and do it that way.
Or at least a portable cooler and jack it up with ice every couple of days.
But I will say the fact that you shouldn't age some beers has made me buy less of certain things.
Sure.
Just so it doesn't hang around as long.
Right.
Like I don't buy, 50 cans of Mosaic IPA from the community. You'd buy a reasonable 6-pack and go through it and then go buy another one.
Right.
Get the fresh stuff.
All within the same night.
Yeah, well, that may have happened before, but yeah.
Thank Jesus they have Lash now, which can deliver us some Mosaic IPAs.
And now Mosaic in the can. Just a little shout out to them.
Yeah, and exactly. Now we have the Bell's Two Hearted Ale.
That's true.
Which, next week we'll be covering the Bell's launch here in Texas. Yeah. Over at Common Table. They'll be releasing the Amarillo
IPA.
It's an Amarillo-based IPA.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called. Amarillo, am I right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
I was about to say Amarillo by Morning.
It has a catchier name than that, but I couldn't remember it.
Yeah. I was going to say Amarillo by Morning, but that's a George Strait song.
Because that's next week's episode. Yeah. That is a nice vertical tease.
It's a vertical tease ahead. It's episode 91.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of annoyed by the fact that I buy so much beer and don't drink it right away, but it's also like a health decision that I don't drink it right away.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to be drinking beer every day, And I've got a ton of beer. But some of it specifically I'm holding back because you're right. It's a special buy. Maybe it costs, I don't know, $15, $20 a bottle, and I'm intentionally saving it for something special. It's
right.
I realize not all beer is made to age that way, but if you age the right ones the right way, it can be a really pleasant experience.
Yeah, I said, rarity doesn't necessarily dictate it because, like, Pliny the Elder sometimes is hard to find.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, you still drink it right away. But, yeah, I think some of the more bigger stouts and stuff like that are kind of harder to get, and you get a couple. I tend to, and I think you do the same thing. You drink one and you keep one for a while. And that's one later.
I was about to say, I'm a big fan of if it's at an affordable price point.
Yeah.
Which seems like with the bigger beers is becoming less and less so. But I like getting one fresh and tasting it. Well, I can, but it's whether I want to afford it or not.
Right.
Like enjoy a fresh one and then save one, hold one back, and see how it goes.
Right.
See how it transforms. I think that's one of the cool side effects of beer is seeing how beer changes over time. Seeing how the tastes change.
And I think a lot of them, unless they specifically say, like, Deschutes should be on that list of ones that are okay both ways because they used to have a series where they had a few that you were supposed to wait until.
Right.
Like, it was like a year later before you're supposed to drink it. So of course, those you wait. But otherwise, I'd say it is good, like you said, have one fresh and then try one later. And then you kind of, I think some things get a lot better. I mean, like Lakewood we've had several times. They're barrel-aged temperatures. I think that actually gets a lot better if you give it about 6-7 months.
Conversely, I do understand the brewer's point of view that says we brew this beer, most of it, for you to enjoy fresh off the shelf because there's a number of things that can go wrong, especially if you're in bottles.
Sure.
It could be light struck, can cause all kinds of problems, skunking and all that jazz.
Keep it in a cold, dark area.
Yeah, people may not keep it in a cold, dark area. They may not be as knowledgeable about keeping beer stored fresh, and they don't want to be blamed for a bad product, of course.
They may keep it in an open box in a garage.
They may do that. They may turn on a heater in the middle of August in an Onion Crotch, Texas summer, focused directly on that box of beer.
And then complain that it's
bad.
complain
that it's bad, yeah, absolutely. So I think the Deschutes had it right. There's a middle ground. Some beers are meant to be that way. Some beers age perfectly fine, and some beers you should drink fresh. I don't think you should always drink fresh.
Sure. And plus, they want you to buy fresh, so you're buying more and more now.
Well,
too.
yeah, they want. Yes,
there's always that element too.
Yeah, it's probably not the primary concern, but it's definitely a concern. They want you to buy more and more and more.
It's a thought.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, after this, we're going to talk about 903, which is a little brewery out of Sherman, Texas.
by Barbacoa Apparel. Barbacoa Apparel is a San Antonio-based independent clothing line that caters to Texans and Texans at heart. To find out more about Barbacoa Apparel or to buy your favorite taco tee, go to barbacoaapparel.com.
So 903 Brewing. I don't have a lot. I haven't had a lot of beers from them.
You don't have a lot?
I don't have a lot. I don't have a lot in my belly.
I was going to say that.
Not yet, anyways. I haven't had a lot of beers from them. I have had their main beer, I think, their flagship beer is probably the Chosen One Coconut or the
Sasquatch.
The Sasquatch, the chocolate.
I would say that's probably their. Yeah.
Those are probably their two most famous beers that I know of.
Well, they're two of their top 10 beers. I mean, you have those two. You have the Atlanta Milk and Honey, which we're doing a variant of today. Cracking Up Pecan Porter, and the Sugar on Top IPA, and the Ruse Red Ale. Now, I have had the Sugar on Top IPA before. That's different. It is a sugary IPA, which is a little different.
Is it like desserty?
Not quite that much. It just has like a little hint of sweetness to it. You know, kind of like us and how we are in general.
A hint of sweetness. Yeah. Mostly bitter, but a hint of sweetness. Yeah, a black heart, mostly bitter.
Absolutely.
But a touch of sweetness.
So, yeah, it's interesting. Nothing I've ever had from 903's ever blown my socks off. I usually don't like them, actually.
Yeah.
I think I've had three. They're different. I had the Coconut and the Sasquatch, which I didn't like either one of those.
Really?
And I thought the
so you're the one
top was okay.
You're the one that Javi called out.
Probably so, because I just never have liked them.
He thought it was me. I remember he pointed fingers at me. He literally took all of his fingers, all 10 fingers, pointed directly at me like Frankenstein walking.
That's weird.
Back in the old cereals.
It's a weird way to call you out.
Yeah, pointing me out as the 903 hater. I actually like the Chocolate Yeti.
Yeah.
I don't know why
it was me. Yeah.
I don't know why you're such a 903 hater.
Well, we'll see if they change my mind with this, because I never have had the regular Milk and Honey either.
I haven't either, and this one is a golden milk stout. And it's based on their regulars, the Land of Milk and Honey, but we're talking about the mint chocolate chip.
Kind of like we've said a few times.
Right. The mint chocolate chip milk and honey.
Right.
The description there's not a description for this one.
Right.
So just take this description here and add mint chocolate chip.
Right.
Our stout has been set free from the restraints of traditional style guidelines. It's a honey stout brewed with roasted malt and lactose for smoothness. Local honey from Cross Farms gives a light Christmas with just a touch of sweetness. All this goodness make in a land of flowing with milk and honey.
And mint chocolate chip.
Yeah. All this goodness make in a land flowing with milk and honey. That's their sentence, not mine.
Yeah.
Or that's Untapped sentence, not mine.
Yeah.
Or actually, that's Beer Advocate sentence, not mine.
Sounds like typical 903 so far.
Yeah. Exactly. Hater. No, you can actually blame Beer Advocate on that one. The beer bros on that one. So this beer, no surprise, doesn't have any ratings on Beer Advocate or Rate Beer.
Yeah.
I think it's very specific, probably just to this location, Goodfriend.
Right.
And Untapped, it does get a 3.72 out of 5. There's no information on their website, so very scant information. But like I said,
so maybe this is a fake variant.
A golden milk stout, add mint chocolate and chips. Mint chocolate and chips.
Sure.
Not chocolate chips, it's chocolate and chips.
Right.
Nice, some Pringles.
Yeah.
Add in some Ruffles.
Yeah, some salty chips, yeah. Well, let's see if 903 can actually change my mind with this one. I'm rooting for them. I don't want to hate them. I just do.
Knowing you're always dug in the ground.
They're not a real Dallas brewer anyway. They're in Sherman. Sherman's like the Abilene of the DFW Metroplex.
That is a very confusing sentence.
So it doesn't really count.
From where they are, they might be described colloquially here in Texas as BFE.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
They're definitely
like halfway between here and Oklahoma.
I mean, we jokingly refer to Plano as BFE from where we are in East
It's not really, though.
But Sherman is definitely BFE from here.
Sherman's probably a good hour from here, 45 minutes at least.
And if you don't know what BFE is, go look up.
Yeah.
Go to Urban Dictionary.
Look at the acronym, and you'll be able to find it. But yeah, it's literally about halfway between here and Oklahoma. Yeah. So just, I know if you don't know where DFW is to Oklahoma, then go look at a map.
Go to Google Maps.
It's not right there. Yeah. It's a couple hours minimum.
You're almost dipping your toes in the Red River.
Right. Exactly.
In which place we could go play at Choctaw. If we're 9-3, might as well go to Choctaw. While we're up there.
Yeah, exactly.
Do a little and really expensive gambling.
And the Prairie mob will be very strong up there.
They'll be waiting across the Red. On the other side of the Red, they'll be waiting for us.
Absolutely.
Spy satellites already focused on us as we're approaching the Red.
Anytime anyone from Brew Bloods gets close to the border, they come out in mass.
The Oklahoma State Patrol will be waiting at the border.
Right.
There's them Brew Bloods, boys.
Yep. Absolutely.
They basically all sound like they're from Hell or High Water.
Yeah. I was going to say, they all sound like Jeff Bridges from Hell or High Water.
Even though they were all from West Texas, allegedly, even though it was filmed in Mexico incorrectly.
Yep.
All right, well, after this, we'll talk about 903 and the Land of Milk and Honey chocolate chip milk and honey.
903 Brewers was founded in Sherman, Texas in June of 2013. Jeremy and Natalie Roberts wanted to open a brewery to, quote, make great beer for a great community. Jeremy is both the founder and the head brewer. 903 has won a few different awards, but their prized beer is their Imperial Sasquatch Chocolate Stout, which took home a silver medal from the Great American Beer Festival in the aged beer category. In addition to the Sasquatch, 903 features 5 other beers on regular rotation. They are the Mythical Creature IPA, a West Coast IPA, the Crackin' Up, a robust pecan porter, the 903 Blonde, a blonde ale, the Chosen One, a coconut ale, and the Milk and Honey, a honey stout brewed with lactose.
So the BJCP for a milk stout, a.k.a. sweet stout in this case.
Right.
It's a very dark, sweet, full-bodied, slightly roasty ale. Often tastes like a sweetened espresso. The typical IBU is 20 to 40. We've got 0 in this case. And the ABV is 4 to 6%. And I think this one clocks in at 6.5%.
I would hope someone mint chocolate chip is not very bitter.
Well, unless you're talking dark chocolate.
Right.
But you often don't see, like, if you're just perusing the Ben & Jerry's aisle
Right.
in your local Tom Thumb or Kroger.
You don't usually have a scoop of ice cream that's really bitter. I don't know.
Oh, there's not a lot of dark chocolate ice creams out there.
True, yeah.
I mean, at least not in these parts of the world. I mean, we do
Right.
enjoy our sweet-ass Bluebell,
True, yeah.
to fatten our hog asses up, for the hunt
Right.
every summer.
Pretty much.
But yeah, you don't see a lot of dark chocolate ice creams. I know there's some out there. I know I've seen them at Whole Foods. But
Yeah,
if you're just talking your average Joe ice cream.
And there's like toffee and stuff like that.
But toffee is not bitter.
Can be.
Toffee is not bitter.
It depends.
Toffee is sweet
We'll table that.
and scrumptious.
We'll table
You want
that.
a tabletop? Do we need to open up the Toffee cast?
We'll do a different toffee cast, yeah.
Spin off of Brew Bloods.
Right.
Toffee Bloods.
Exactly. Yeah, that'll be great.
It's got a very limited
here's
scope.
toffee again.
We could sample toffees from around the world.
We could
and
do that.
I guarantee you would never find a bitter toffee.
Yeah, true.
Unless you spiked it with some hops. You just wrapped your toffee up with some hops.
We'll see. I'm not willing to concede that.
All right, we're going to start the Toffee Cast next week.
All right.
Episode 91.
But we're
where
not
Brew
here to
Bloods
talk about
becomes
toffee.
Cast.
We're really not.
So the aroma for a milk stout should be mild roasted grain aroma, sometimes with coffee and or chocolate notes. I would expect chocolate in this case. An impression of cream-like sweetness often exists. Fruitiness can be low, moderately high. Diacetyl should be low to none, and hop aroma low to none.
Amazingly enough, this one has a minty aroma, which I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it's very minty. Not getting a lot of chocolate there.
It's mostly minty, I would say. A little bit of chocolate.
It kind of reminds me of a Klondike bar.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
What would you do for a Klondike bar? For a Klondike beer?
Pretty limited what I would do, actually.
Yeah, I would rob a bank.
Yeah, exactly.
Might kill a few people. I would definitely run over a homeless person in the middle of the night.
Right. Well, yeah, but you do that anyway.
Yeah.
That's just a thing you do.
I would definitely punch that guy over there.
Oh,
I don't know why. Just saying.
Yeah.
He's just hanging out drinking a beer, but I'd definitely go punch him for a Klondike bar. Basically, what wouldn't
He
you
would
do?
understand.
What wouldn't you do for a Klondike bar?
He would understand why you did
No,
it.
but I'm asking you, what wouldn't you do for a Klondike bar?
Most all those things that you were talking about. I would maybe pay like 50 cents for one. That's
Would you-
about all I would do.
Would you butt chug this beer for a Klondike bar?
No.
Man,
I don't care about
you are
Klondike
not living
bars.
life to the fullest.
I don't care about Klondike.
Yeah, but you're not experiencing life in that Dionysian way, which y'all should be.
God, don't bog.
Shut up, Sean. I'm trying to do a show here for the B1s.
Right, exactly.
I'm doing the show here for the B1s. I don't know what you're doing.
I'm doing it for you. Oh,
All
wait,
right.
no, I'm doing it for them too.
So definitely very Klondike smell, though not as sharp. Like a Klondike bar is definitely way more sharp. This is like a pillow mint almost that you get at a nice hotel. Because only the nicest hotels have pillow mints.
This almost has kind of a York peppermint patty aroma to it or something too. It's not very...
Well, maybe peppermint, yeah.
You know, it's just got like a hint of mint. It's not really super strong, but
Yeah.
it's there for sure. And there's a little bit of chocolatiness, so it's kind of like a peppermint patty.
You know, speaking of peppermint patties, I always wondered, did Peppermint Patty, the Charlie Brown character, does she smell like peppermints? Why was she called Peppermint Patty?
I have no idea. I haven't thought about Charlie Brown in a long time.
Well, then you're missing out on Christmas time.
That's true.
I always figured she probably smelled like yacht. Like, she smelled like old peanut butter and...
Well, that one kid definitely smelled like yacht.
Not
Pigpen?
Pigpen.
Yeah.
We're talking about... Because she probably smells like sweat and like a leathery softball.
Yeah, maybe so.
Not peppermints. Never understood that.
I don't
Very
know.
confusing title, Charles M. Schultz.
Yes.
Now pillow mints. Do you enjoy the pillow mint at a hotel? Doesn't it feel like... Am I supposed to enjoy this when I go to bed? So I can have minty, fresh, chocolatey breath?
And then I have to brush again because now I have sugar teeth.
But Then again, maybe it's right before you make love to your lover.
Yeah.
Before you bed them down.
It's probably good for that, yeah. Before you kick on the Michael Bolton Valentine's special.
Exactly. Makes sweet, sweet love. It's always a nice surprise, though, to have a nice chocolate mint.
Yeah. I don't generally get to stay at those kind of places, but...
Just stay at the Motel 4s?
They don't usually do that at Hampton Inn.
That's true. They barely even clean the tubs at Hampton Inns.
Right.
So this smells like a pillow mint of beer
does.
so far. Let's hope it's as good as a pillow mint.
Yeah. It's definitely unfiltered.
Yeah, definitely unfiltered. We actually have some sunlight. Definitely dark red in copy. And the appearance, according to BJCP, should be very dark brown to black in color. Can be opaque. If not, it should be clear, creamy tan to brown head. And we should say it poured with a little bit of head, but it's completely gone.
There is no head.
There is no head. It might as well be Kool-Aid. I think minty Kool-Aid might have more head than this beer.
True, yeah.
And this is fresh off the tap, by the way. We're not pouring out of a bottle or anything like that.
Yeah, it's not an aged bottle.
And it's not a nitro. It's not off cask.
True.
It's fresh out of the tap, so no head at all. It is a headless.
It doesn't even
horseman.
really barely even have like a white rim.
No.
There's really nothing.
It looks like like a flat soft drink.
Yeah, it does. Yep.
Definitely opaque. Definitely more brown than anything. Definitely.
There's a little coppery to it. Yeah.
When they talk about the golden stout.
Yeah.
Most golden stouts, which are few and far between, but like the brunch money, it's definitely a golden color. There's no golden color here.
No, this looks coppery.
Of course, this could be more in the direction of what adjuncts did they put in the beer. Not having had the milk and honey, I can't say what it looks like, but maybe the adjuncts affected the color in this case.
Yeah.
But it definitely does fit in with the typical sweet beer milk stout profile. So
absolutely.
Now the flavor should be dark roasted grains and malts should dominate the flavor as in a dry stout and provide coffee and or chocolate flavors. Hop bitterness is moderate, lower than in a dry stout. Medium to high sweetness, often from the addition of lactose. And the mouthfeel should be medium to full-bodied and creamy. Low to moderate carbonation. Definitely low. It's definitely low.
Aren't you lactose intolerant?
I am not. I used to be. And then
look at you, pal.
And then I got the touch of Jesus, and he healed me from lactose intolerance.
Nice.
I no longer poop my brains out when I eat a square of cheese. A cube of cheese as a generic business.
You don't snot all over the place?
Yeah, like used to when I go to a generic business mixer, I'd have one cube of cheese and just
right.
Just screaming diarrhea everywhere, but not anymore. Not anymore.
That's why they quit inviting you to generic business mixers.
But then I went to Benny Hinn, and I got the power of Jesus touched me, slapped upside my forehead,
right.
And now I'm whole again. Now I can have one cube of cheese at a business mixer, a generic business luncheon. I hate business luncheons.
Yeah, me too.
That is minty. This does compete with the one of our local favorite breweries, Lakewood, their Sin Mint Temptress, which is designed to taste just like a Girl Scout's Thin Mint. And maybe we should have done a head-to-head on these, but we didn't know this existed until we walked in the door, so we couldn't have done that.
True.
So this is in the mint category.
And having the honey element to it definitely makes it different.
The Sin Mint is definitely... It's almost exactly like drinking a Girl Scout. Like if you were put it in a blender, mix it with some blood, and drink it, it's definitely a lot more like that.
Yeah, man, this does mix everything. Like it has the mint, it has the chocolate chip, it has the honey.
Well, it's definitely not... The corners aren't as sharp as the Sin Mint.
It's everything it says it's supposed to be.
Which the Sin Mint is a good beer.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a perfectly...
Well, there's no honey in that, too.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's a perfect representation of what it's trying to imitate.
Right.
And this is definitely more pillow minty. I'm definitely feeling the pillows, and this time there are pillows.
Yeah, but the honey element makes it really different, too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's rounding it out.
Yeah.
It's definitely providing more of the sweetness.
Which is interesting. I don't know that I've ever really... I mean, I've had beers that have, like, a honey element to it, like maybe Local Buzz or something, but, this is like someone took one of those... honey bears and squeezed it into a vat of beer.
I wouldn't go that far.
Like, it's definitely very prominent. It's very prominent. It's not subtle.
Okay, I thought you were going to go for into a pint glass and say it's not that sweet.
No, I said into the vat. It's like they took the really sweet processed honey and threw it in there, and I mean, it's very noticeable.
It is very noticeable. Yeah, it's not overpowering though.
Yeah.
Though what you're saying, you're saying like Smokey the Bear came in and pooped out his honeycombs into the vat. Into the kettle, and that is not what's happening here.
It's pretty strong. The chocolate, the chocolate's pretty strong, and then the honey's pretty strong to me.
I disagree,
and I think the mint is more subtle.
I think you're 100% wrong.
Yeah, I'm not though. You can think that, but
I think
I'm definitely correct.
You're at least 75% wrong.
I'm definitely correct.
You should admit that. You're at least 75% wrong.
No, not gonna. I have to tell the truth, and that's what it tastes like.
You're like Toulouse. You never tell the truth. Oh, wait, I guess he always does tell the truth.
I was going to say I'm like
You're
Toulouse.
the
He only
anti-Toulouse.
speaks the
You're
truth.
the Bizarro Toulouse. You never speak the truth. The truth.
You're fake news, Mark. That's what it is.
Yeah, I think you're completely wrong.
You're trying to promote 903. You're 903's corner.
Oh, I know.
So
but here you are.
You're
just
big
the typical-
903.
You're typical 903 hater. Always going around. You're waving your anti-903 banners.
Your big Sherman beer over there, touting Sherman beer.
You always have the numbers 903 on a banner you carry around. You're the Trump protest, but it's got the big cross hatch on it to cross them out. You're always down at Dealey Plaza, around all the assassination conspiracy theorists, waving that in their faces.
For a beer from Sherman. It makes complete sense.
You're always anti-903. Always. That's all you ever talk about.
I do tend to be, and yeah, I just tend to be. The way they make things is not in my bag generally.
And here
I've
again,
not had the barrel aged Sasquatch, which is the one I've heard is really their creme de la creme.
it's really good beer.
That's the one I haven't had. I've just had the regular.
I don't know why you're downplaying that as well. Here you are, overturning
I haven't
tables.
had it, so I'm not playing it down or up.
So basically, you hate this beer.
Well, we haven't gotten to ratings yet, have we?
No, but we're not 2 ratings. But I can still ask you for your opinion now.
You can ask, but I won't tell you until we get to ratings.
God, you're even more wrong. Now you're up to 83.3% wrong.
Have to wait till ratings. Then you'll know.
All right, let's throw down the hammer for ratings.
Ratings. Go ahead, Mark.
All right. Guess I'll call it Pooh Bear, because although Pooh Bear enjoys too much honey, this is like Pooh Bear Light. It's got a touch of honey. He's on a diet.
It's not full Pooh
It's
Bear.
not as sweet as Mr. Wrong over here. Willie Wrong over here will proclaim it to be. I know when we get to him and his ratings.
You have no idea what I'm going to say.
I know exactly what you're going to say. To me, this is just like a Pillow Mint at a hotel. I think it's with maybe just a little bit more sweetness than your typical Pillow Mint. It tastes very, very much like that. It's somewhere between a Pillow Mint and a Thin Mint from the Girl Scouts, from ye old Girl Scouts.
If you dipped them in honey.
Not dip. If you dab the toe of a Thin Mint, if you dab the Thin Mint toe in a spot, a thimbleful of honey, that's what you have here.
Okay. If you say so.
Yeah, you can say I'm right. Just go ahead and say I'm right.
I will never say
Because
that.
I am 103.3% right. For some reason, I always go in 0.3 degrees.
Yeah. Because you're fake news.
I enjoy this beer. It's not one I can have more than one glass of because it's very sweet and it's very minty. It's definitely falls in that dessert beer category. It's not one I could probably butt chug it, but I couldn't chug it.
Hey, there's something we agree on.
I think it's got a great smell. I
You
think
can have more than one of these.
I think like Denny Green said it is what it says it is. And I think it's a fine representation of what it's trying to be. Not my favorite dessert beer by any stretch. I think there on the top of the mouth, there's just a little bit of soapy quality that is a little off-putting, but not enough to declare this beer a complete disaster. It's not that. So it's a good beer, not my favorite dessert beer. I'm going to go with a 4 out of 5.
Well, this beer definitely has a lot of stuff going on, and they definitely touch base with everything they have going on, so I definitely give them credit for that. There's definitely honey in there. There's definitely chocolate chip. There's a milk element to it, and mint is definitely prevalent. So all of that is available, and
that's very generic.
They did mix that in, and so they didn't say anything. There's oftentimes that a beer will claim to be something, and then you're like, I wouldn't know that's supposed to be in there unless I read the can, and that's not true here. They definitely represented everything that they are trying to represent. If you're talking about just pure minty beers, I think the Sen Mint from Lakewood is above and beyond better than this one, and this one's not trying to be a straight-up Girl Scout cookie like that one is, so they're not exactly the same. But if I was going to pick a minty beer, there's no doubt I would grab that one 10 times out of 10 over this. I feel like the mint, like you said, it does add a little bit of a soapy flavor to it, and I'm not a big fan of that. I think the honey, it's not overbearing, but I think it's a little too present for the mint chocolate chip version of it. I think maybe the milk and honey version, that it would make sense.
Wrong.
It would be fine, but I think it's a little too prevalent here.
Wrong.
And I also think the mint tastes a little fake or something. It just isn't that great. I think they do a better job in the Sen Mint, however they make the mint flavor appear in that beer versus what they did in this one. I also think this beer is a little too flat, and that may just be this pour. I don't know if that's necessarily their fault.
That's a good point.
But I think this one's really flat.
I would agree with you there. It is way flat. It's like a flat soft drink. You're right. You're right.
So
not wrong.
All that together, for me, I couldn't drink 2 of these. I probably wouldn't get it again, honestly. Just not my flavor palette, not my preference. So I would probably give this one, not probably, I will give this one a 2.75 out of 5.
Whoa. Did I proclaim it or what? Here comes the 903 hater strolling down his path in his top hat and cravat.
They still haven't won me over yet.
Right. Still holding up his anti-903 sign.
So far, that is correct.
He's going to go, after this, he's going to run up to Sherman and burn a cross in their front yard.
Still holding out hope for that Imperial Sasquatch. That'll save the day.
Well, thanks for listening to episode 90 of Brew Bloods. Can't believe we've done 90 episodes, but here we are.
Can't believe it. It's crazy.
It wasn't a joke. Why are you laughing at me?
I was just,
now I'm leaving. Now I'm insulted.
I was just happy about the fact we did 90.
No, you are fake laughing.
Well, I was trying to get into the spirit.
If you enjoy us for some reason, you may also enjoy the Break Room. You can listen to that show, breakroom.tv, all the links to enjoy that show.
Wouldn't recommend that one.
Leave us a review on iTunes.
That's the 903 podcast.
But yet you're part of it.
Oh, I'm fully admit I'm a part of it.
You're part of the problem. Leave us a review on iTunes. We'd appreciate it. Helps people to find the show. Check us out on all the social networks, Tumblr, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We are at Brewbloods on all of those, even including and or Reddit. If you have any comments, you can email us at brewbloodshow@gmail.com. Said that weird. And you can call us at 469-573-BEER. It's 469-573-2337. Catch you guys next week for the Bells release in Texas. Live from Common Table. Jeff Probst.